this is a huge challenge because from education we will be reshaping the system. Young people coming with all their curiosity are coming also with their frights. They don't know what would happen to them. But the crucial thing is not about the skills they will be given, but the skills we will be giving in advance to the teachers, because they are the core of the system. School is made for kids and for students, but then we have to firstly make a step to prepare teachers for preparing people for unknown. And there are some competences we are aware that will be important. It's language skills, communication skills, IT skills, it's resilience, it's creativity, but also something that is quite often forgotten is capability to move physically. I mean,
so adaptability and flexibility, is that what you mean?
Yes, I mean also the fact that we are still focusing on technology, sitting all the time with mobile phones, and we can see that young generation is not even able to jump or run.
Yeah.
And talking about the education, we must assure the knowledge on the best level, but also social capabilities and physical capabilities.
But you know that the younger generation view us as aliens.
Well, Teach for All started 37 years ago when I was a college student, and I was studying at Princeton University. I wasn't majoring in education, and I was being recruited, as all of my peers were, to commit just 2 years to work in banks, and thought, you know what, why isn't my generation being recruited just as aggressively to commit 2 years to teach in the lowest income communities in our country? And that set out the beginning of Teach for America, which has subsequently enlisted 70,000 plus outstanding recent grads of all different majors in teaching for 2 years, and honestly, they never leave the work. And about 18 years ago, we started supporting people all over the world, now in 63 countries and growing, who launched similar movements. So the Teach for All network is a group of organizations, locally led, governed organizations in every region of the world that, like including Teach for Poland, in fact, that are enlisting their country's most promising leaders in initially committing 2 years to teach, but ultimately working together with many others in the system to transform the system. And I guess about 10 years ago, we really came together as a global network and asked ourselves what we were really working towards. Like, we had started out focused on equity within today's system, but ultimately realized catching kids up within a broken system and a very outdated system that was created so many decades ago wasn't going to get us where we needed to be. And so we really came together around a different vision of enabling all kids to have the kind of education that will equip them to shape a better future for themselves, to shape meaningful careers in a changing economy, and for all of us. To solve these increasingly complex problems that we face. The point is really to develop what we've come to call collective leadership for ensuring all kids fulfill their potential and are equipped with the kind of holistic education necessary to actually navigate today's world, to work for today's employers, and to solve the problems that we face today. So there are big questions around how do we develop students, not only their academic mastery and their problem solving and critical thinking skills, but also their sense of agency, their awareness of the world and of the issues we need to tackle, their connectedness to each other and to the planet.
I think across the conversations we are having, what we really need to figure out is how to manage change. I think if we all talk about change management, if we can figure out this massive change which is coming, which is once in our lifetime, there is another creature, you can call it another power, whatever it is, it's going to be far more intelligent than human. And we got to first accept that. I think that once the acceptance is there, then you say how you enable change. I think, and as humans, the first thing we always do is we resist. And that's what we see across wherever we are doing. And I think it will evolve. And I think we also need to, this is a complex problem we are trying to solve. But sometimes for a complex problem, we tend to look for simple answers. You cannot sit on a podium or say something, a complex problem, a simple solution. A complex problem needs relatively a complex solution on a step-by-step basis. This is a evolution, not a revolution. So therefore, as educators, we need to first figure it out. What is education? Perhaps we talk very loosely, and if you go back to the roots of education, it's come from a Latin word. There's two aspects. Either you put it in, that's what we were doing all this time in the Industrial Revolution. The other one is drawing out, which is called an inside-out education.
Is this the knowing versus doing gap?
Right.
Your mantra?
Right.
Yes?
Right.
And it's really, I mean, when I read this, it really resonated with me. It's great to know, but I mean, what are you able to do with it at the end of the day?
Right.
Right? Really important. So are we seeing that gap widening
Not
right
at all,
now?
not at all. I'm an absolute optimist. And I think, and again, there's a world of so many million people. I think we'll have to believe it is not widening. As educators, we have a duty to bring that together. People know what to do, but they can't do it because it comes with their emotional intelligence, which again we need to work on. So I think things are progressing well. I think AI is a fantastic, it's not even a tool, I will say it's a companion. And we got to learn how to use these guys. And we'll have to dictate who is creating all of these. Humans are creating all of these. And that's why Dubai is on that spot of innovation, and they're willing to embrace it rather than hide from it, or we don't have all the answers, but we'll find it. That's the human creativity which we talked about earlier. So I think if you can do two things, ladies and gentlemen, as humans, if you can have the curiosity, then also have the generosity. You have those two, I think we're going to do very well. So I don't think we need to panic. We simply need to embrace it, and the world is going to be a fantastic place.
Well, I grew up in a Polish school during the communist times, so it was totally different. And luckily, it's far away from us, though still we are facing hectic times. And what our school gave me is first social contact. I mean, curriculum is extremely important. You have to modernize it. You have to give the children tools to adapt. But the first thing school does is giving the social contact, is giving the colleagues, the friendship, the relations, the understanding that there is a teacher and you are a student, so how you can exchange the views, how you can learn nowadays from each other. So this is a huge change. Then we are looking for the basic skills that are needed. And still, I'm a Minister of Education, so I know what is the most important in the education system. To be honest, curriculum is important, but teachers are the most important value in the whole education system. If teacher is good, if teacher is well paid, if teacher is open-minded, he or she, well, usually she, will open broadly a world for young people. And our role as the designer of the education is firstly, remember about well-qualified education, giving the highest knowledge possible. They will know how to use it. You are perfectly right. They will know how to use it. But they must be equipped with math competences, STEM competences, learning and skills and adaptability. And they have to be resilient. But nowadays, we have to assure also mental security. I mean, kids are living in the very dangerous world. When they are 13, even younger, in Poland it's 1.5 million of kids under the 13 years old who is using social media. From 7 till 13 years old, 1.5 million kids is exposed for inappropriate content.
Are you planning to ban social media like Australia has?
Yes, this is my dream to implement, to ban social media for kids. And I think we all should do this. But then, to be honest, school and family, especially school, because we cannot interfere families, but we can influence school, can assure this safe environment for kids, when they can get peer support, when they can get teacher support, when they can learn the relations, and this is fundamental. And yes, we are changing the curriculums to make it more adaptable, more supportive, but also, not only for students, but also for teachers. Because if teachers are powerful, they can distribute the power also to pupils, to students.
Well, I just think technology amplifies what's there. And the vast majority of kids in the world don't show up at schools every day where they feel a part of a community and a sense of mission, and like they are operating on the edge of their abilities to address the issues in their school communities and in their communities at large. That's the world we need for all of our kids. And what we have in our classrooms today is what we'll have in the world tomorrow. For sure. So if we want to put the world on a better trajectory, we need to think about education in a totally different way, like prioritize it differently and come together in communities and countries all over the country and the world, to really reflect on what do we want for our communities and our country and our world, and therefore, what are we going to work for our kids? We need to rethink the purpose of education, like step out of the box of our schools that was created decades and decades and decades ago, and really think together in diverse groups with our educators and our policymakers and our families and students, what is it that we should be aiming for kids in today's world? And then we can all start working towards it, and we will work towards holistic student development. And then social media and the technology will be leveraged to good ends.
First thing is, I think as soon as we talk education, we zoom into schools or universities.
Yeah.
I think what we should really do is look at lifelong learning. When this change is coming at this level, I think continuously thinking about the children, perhaps even patronizing for the children, as if that we know all the answers. I don't know all the answers. So therefore, I myself need to learn and show them that I'm a lifelong learner. And when you are a lifelong learner, and those children in the classrooms will understand, rather than just telling them, we become role models, and that's what teachers are, and that was used to be. But now the role modeling is, you got to be a student again. If you suddenly think, if you know all the answers, I think you're not going to earn the respect of the new generation. That is my first comment. And the second comment is, I think in terms of coming back to this social media, it's all coming back to figure out who you are. And that's what we call it the inside-out education. If you develop your will, if you develop your intuition, if you develop your reasoning, if you develop your imagination, oh boy, you can have everything come your way. You know how to stop it. Yes, the speed of information coming has changed. The evolution of the humans is slow to compare with the revolution of the technology. I'm using the word quite carefully. One is an evolution, other one is a revolution.
Yeah.
But in that context, what can we do? We cannot sit and say, okay, we are going to stop things. I don't think that's the answer. And it might be controversial.
So you don't agree with a ban on social media under the age
personally, I'm in a context of banning anything might not be the right approach, is educating people how to deal with it. And I'll give you a simple example, and again, it's nice in these conversations not to necessarily all agree, because that's what you create thinking process. There's a knife there is given to us when we were children, how to eat, maybe, to cut an apple or how to sort of eat something, and we learned it. That same knife, if you use it not in the right way and turn it on your stomach, it'll kill you. So we got to learn this. It's far more complicated than the knife.
A knife is not addictive.
Maybe.
A knife is not addictive. That's my answer. Is that what you wanted to say?
Exactly. I just want to say that, okay, drinks are okay, though alcohol, strangely, are banned for kids because they can harm their brains. Sometimes we take care, yes, and we sometimes do patronize kids because it is also our role as those who are grown up. They can, of course, have their point of view, but there are some things like alcohol, like drugs, and social media full of pornography that should be banned from kids. That's my point of view.
I think to come back to that, as schools, there are technology available now to have whitelist, and the technology is there to protect. It can be a very positive thing as well as a negative, ma'am. I completely agree. We got two girls. The point I'm trying to make is, as leaders, the best thing to do is to live with this, because I think we got to live with it. At some point, if you learn, because the human skills are disappearing, because why our education system in the technology revolution, we just gave outside in. We taught them science, we taught them chemistry. Absolutely is important. But we've got to also go and teach them how to improve your willpower.
If we all think about our own educational experience or our kids, and think about the moment when either you or your kids were most engaged by their teacher and were most into what they were doing. Hopefully everyone can think about a moment like that. At those moments, you're not going home and doom scrolling.
Correct.
You're so engaged. But as a society, we want to spend all of our time critiquing the social media world rather than saying, you know what?
Yes.
We have a serious global crisis in our education systems. We need to prioritize it differently. We need to think about the very purpose of our education systems differently. We need to invest so much more in the development of the adults throughout that system. It is about the teachers, but it's also about the school leaders and about the people in the ministries who equip those school leaders. It is one big, huge human enterprise, and we need to enable everyone in it to unlearn how they were taught, a hugely challenging thing, and learn a different way of seeing the very purpose of education. I don't see a way out of this predicament that we're all in without taking our education systems more seriously and putting much more energy into making them a place that enables people to then leverage the technology to good ends.
I think in 10 years from now, it'll be a great, great world. Because as humans, even though we debate, we will go and do the right thing eventually. Yes, there are patches of problems there, but if you look at what happened 50 and 100 years ago, this is one of the most fantastic times that we are living. So therefore, I am an optimist. Humans will debate that we should. That's where a new point of view will come.
Absolutely.
And I think I'm very optimistic. Technology is going to help us. AI is going to help us. We are going to become fantastic human beings. We've got lots of fun things to do. Rather than work Monday to Friday, 9 to 5. Who knows, it might be 3 days, as various leaders are predicting. So I'll pass it over to you, ma'am.
Wendy.
I'll also end on an optimistic note, which is to say that perhaps the disruption in the entry-level hiring will be a silver lining. And all the most outstanding graduates out there will realize that the most important thing they can do is put their energy into the human work of transforming our education systems in order to put the world on a different trajectory. I actually think it could happen. We're going to try to make it happen alongside many others.
When I started, we raised the salaries of 30%, but
Well
still
done.
it's not enough.
Okay.
Good you mentioned this. I will tell my Minister of Finances that here in Dubai,
And I
it
will
was
take
a
a-
question mark. But to be honest, in 10 years, everything depends on us. This is in our hand. And we cannot now give the clever answer what will happen, because it depends what you will start doing in next 10 minutes for next 10 years. How we will be shaping our world, how we will work for security of our world, how we will live with technology, and how we'll live with each other. With all the hectics and turbulences we have in the world, either we will be a human being controlling technology, or this question mark will not be that
Or
optimistic.
technology controlling the human being?
Or human beings fighting each other for resources and technology as well. But then let's be optimistic and let's start to work, not Monday to Friday, but 7 days, 24 hours per day. And in 10 years, we will sit here and say, yeah, we've done well.